Woman kicks pregnant daughter out. Years later learns her granddaughter is an orphan. A woman who kicked her pregnant daughter out was stunned when she saw a little girl in her classroom several years later. She spotted a birthmark on the girl's neck and realized it was the same as her daughter's. "Get out and never see me again." Polly Thomas remembered telling her 17-year-old daughter, Angel, who she caught crying in a corner 8 years ago, holding a pregnancy test kit. Polly closed the door on her pregnant daughter, and it was the last time she'd ever seen her face. For several years, Polly never heard anything from Angel. But one day, an unfamiliar little girl came to her classroom, putting Polly in a daze. When the girl revealed tidbits of her past, Polly burst into tears and hurried home. "How could I have been such an evil?" she cried, putting together the pieces of her past. Polly's life 8 years ago was pretty different. As a single mother, she solely raised a lovely daughter, Angel, after a stormy split from her husband. The mother invested a lot of time, love, and money in her daughter to let her have everything she dreamed of. But if there was something Polly disliked, it was Mike, her daughter's boyfriend. "Why am I feeling this way? Have I seen you?" she mumbled as she stared at the girl. "Here, fill up a ransom that you please and leave my daughter alone," Polly once asked Mike, showing him a price to break up with Angel. Mike denied Polly's offer, saying he loved Angel and not her money. When Polly realized Mike was a tough nut to crack, she went home to convince Angel to leave him and found Angel testing for pregnancy at home. "You spoiled little brat. You've brought down my name and reputation in society," Polly yelled after seeing Angel sobbing with a pregnancy test kit in her hand. Unsurprisingly, the results revealed Angel was pregnant. In the heat of the moment, Polly kicked Angel out and cut her off from her life. "No, Mom, please, I beg you," Angel begged her mother. "Please, Sarah, and I don't have anywhere to go." Polly was furious and felt Angel's pregnancy would scar her reputation in society. "Never come back. Even if you come to know I'm dead and gone, never come to my funeral," Polly shouted as Angel tearfully walked to the road. Polly never regretted ousting Angel and moved on. A year later, she married her longtime family friend. She adopted 2 children and never wanted to have a child of her own. Having children, raising them with love, and finding out they're backstabbing you. "I'm not ready to take that route again," she often told those who randomly questioned her adoption. "I'd rather love children who would love me back and not just some random roadside Romeo." Polly lived a great life and taught at a local school. She loved being around children and thought it was the only way that helped her heal from her past agonies. One day, a little girl walked into her classroom. For some reason, the girl magnetized her. "Why am I feeling this way? Have I seen you?" she mumbled as she stared at the girl. Her birth parents died in a car crash when she was just a year old, the principal told Polly. They were on their way to invite the girl's grandma to her first birthday party. Polly's eyes beamed with tears as she suspected the girl could be her grandchild. As she kept looking for clues, she noticed a birthmark on the girl's neck that resembled Angel's. Polly was shocked, but she wanted to verify the truth. "What is your name?" she asked the girl. "Sarah, my name is Sarah," the girl said. "And I've seen you in a picture of my mom." Polly remembered Angel wanted to call her daughter Sarah. She was crushed, and she couldn't find any explanation to tell the girl who she was to her. "I've often seen Mom cry looking at that photo," the girl explained. "It's the only thing I have of her now." "And who are you?" Sarah's innocence hounded Polly. She was heartbroken and couldn't imagine she'd orphaned her granddaughter for so many years. She could no longer look Sarah in the eye. She took off for the rest of the day and was determined to fix things. However, fate had other plans. "I shouldn't have done that to her. I should have known," Polly cried that night. She decided to contact Sarah's adoptive parents the next day to find out if she could take the girl under her custody. "If not, I should at least be allowed to see her. They should allow me because I'm her grandma," Polly thought. But the following day, Polly went to school and had a bit of bad news. Her parents won't be sending her to this school anymore, the principal informed Polly. She had told them about meeting you, and they're furious. The principal pitied Polly and gave her the parents' address. Polly immediately drove to the place, assuming she convinced the couple to let her in Sarah's life. To her disbelief, they were not very kind to her. "How can we trust you with our child when you failed your daughter?" The girl's adoptive father angrily questioned Polly after she requested custody of Sarah. "Aren't you done ruining your daughter's life? Do you want the worst for Sarah too?" yelled the mother. Polly was teary-eyed, and before she could utter another word, the girl's father chimed in and said, "Sarah is already going through a lot. She has many problems, and we don't want you to add to them. Please don't come here again." The couple waited in silence for Polly to leave. She left with tears gushing down her cheeks and looked behind to see if Sarah was anywhere in sight. But she wasn't. Polly decided to move on, assuming time would heal everything. But several months later, a school nurse who was also Polly's best friend rushed to meet her in her classroom with a piece of bad news. "An 8-year-old girl is admitted to the hospital my husband works," the nurse explained. "She needs an immediate kidney transplant, but doctors couldn't find a donor." Polly was shocked and listened curiously. "But what can we do to save her?" she asked the nurse. "It's Sarah," the nurse revealed, freezing Polly in disbelief. As it turned out, Sarah's adoptive parents didn't have enough money to find a donor to save Sarah's life. "Now I get it. These were the problems her father told me before ousting me from their house," Polly recalled. She knew this was her only chance to build a bridge with her granddaughter, so she rushed to the hospital where Sarah was being treated. A few days later, Sarah's adoptive parents got a phone call from the hospital. "Yes, you heard that right. We found a donor," the doctor told Sarah's dad. The parents hurried to the hospital to meet the kind-hearted person who volunteered to save their daughter's life and was surprised to see Polly there. "Mrs. Polly Thomas?" Sarah's parents exclaimed in disbelief. Polly was in the hospital bed waiting for the transplant. She looked at them and smiled, with tears flooding her face. The operation was successful, and several days later, Sarah recovered. She asked her parents if she could meet the person who saved her life. On a Monday, Polly walked swiftly to her classroom. She just returned from her medical leave. As she entered, the class shouted and streamers popped out. "Welcome, Mrs. Polly," the students chorused. Polly was overwhelmed with joy. Then the students cleared the crowd, and Polly froze in disbelief. Sarah was standing at the back, smiling. "Sarah, my darling." Polly rushed and hugged her granddaughter. The old teacher had never been happier feeling Sarah's little hands wrap around her. Later, the principal informed Polly that Sarah's parents had put her back in the school. "And Mrs. Polly, they told me you can take your granddaughter with you for the weekends and have fun with her," she added. "I will. I will surely be the best grandma to her," Polly exclaimed, snapping the tears off her eyes.